be intimidated. I will not be silenced, and we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Noise. Go, baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. Disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, Turtle called Sex Cult people. All right, we got a freebie tonight again. So working on this. Might be in the market for a new web developer. I don't know. This shit is just fucking annoying me. You just pay a guy to fix it. That's all I want to do. Fix it. Just get it right. Make sure I don't have any problems. And then it fucking happens 2 out of 3 times. So we can't have that happening anymore. So anyway, so yeah, we're we got a freebie on YouTube tonight. Honestly, some people in the sex cult like to have it on YouTube because then they can watch it on their TVs. Although I think you can get Turtle Club on your TV if you have like a right cord. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're having some problems and it's just easier if we just jump on YouTube, man. So fuck it. We got a freebie. Anyway, let's jump right back into it. We were watching some Chris Albert testimony. I am sick. It's like I got sick 2 days ago. Just suddenly it hit me. A ton of bricks. It was fine. The other day for my show Tuesday, I think I was fine. And yesterday I just got so sick. Stuffed up, cold, annoying, annoying. Headache, wicked bad headaches, taking ibuprofen. But tomorrow's a big day. I'm going to the courthouse tomorrow. Daddy's back. In case, have you seen the sign yet? Grant's going to be so pissed. Has Grant seen what happened yet when I went and took his seat? Let me see. He has seen it? Let's see if he's responded. Okay. Let's pull this up. Hey, Grant, it's Daddy's chair now. So this is apparently, and it says Grant Smith Ellis on it, towel. Well, it's my chair now. So that's how it works. Because you could just put chairs down there, I guess, and it's just a free-for-all. Because that makes sense. Like Boston, Ted Daniel is not going to get in tomorrow because Gretchen Voss, who's not employed by anyone, is there. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm like, hey, Grant, let's see. Did he respond yet? Let's see if he responded. Oh, I got to tell. He's lying and saying people are drinking. I don't take my medication on the courthouse steps. Okay. Oh, he's saying, update. I'm staying overnight at the courthouse to keep an eye on the fans of Aidan Kearney, the blogger, accused of SA, whatever that is, who for some reason thought it was okay to drink alcohol on the courthouse steps. What? Alcohol? So he is back. Okay. So he wasn't there when I was there. Okay. So he's lying. Again, always lying. All right. And like, at what point does like the courthouse step in and like restore some order here? Like, why are the courthouse steps turning into like basically a bum encampment? Like, it's kind of what it's turning into there. He does this all the time. This is what he does now. He just throws out random shit now. Sexual assault, domestic violence. Like, these words mean nothing to him. Yeah. So he just needs to go away. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let's get back to Chris Albert's testimony. So I'll be in there tomorrow to listen to Brian Albert's testimony. We're going to listen to some Chris now at 1.5 seat.
Now, as far as throughout sort of the course of the evening, did you have occasion to see sort of what Mr. O'Keefe you mentioned that he went to the bar? You got a beer. Was that the only beer that you saw him having, or did he have more than one?
I'm sure he had more than one. Yeah, I saw him with more than one.
So you saw him, but essentially what I'm asking is throughout the course of the evening when you saw him drinking, other than maybe the fireball shot, you saw him just drinking beer?
Just beer. Yeah.
And as far as Miss Reed was concerned, what, if anything, did you observe her drinking throughout the course of the evening?
Just a clear liquid in a glass. I assume it was some sort of vodka drink.
Was that the same glass that she had come into the establishment with under her coat, or was it a different glass later on?
I believe it was the same one.
By the way, have we seen yet any video of Karen Reed drinking 9 drinks? I've seen her get 1 drink at CF McCarthy's. Where are all these videos of Karen Reed getting all these drinks? And where's her bill? That's what I'd like to see. Where's the bill for this? Who paid for all those drinks? Surely there must be a money trail, right? All right.
So you leave from the waterfall and you're walking home, is that right?
Correct.
It's fair to say you didn't go to 34 Fairview that
I
night?
did not.
And about what time was it that you got home?
Sometime between, I'd say 5 past and 10 past 12, somewhere in that window.
And
So they
was your wife home at that point?
She was.
And as far as your children were concerned, how
5 past or 20 past, he says he got there. Back to his apartment. He lives right up the street, 0.4 miles from the waterfall. It would take 8 minutes to walk there. He says he left between 9:05 and 9:10, which would get him back to the apartment at 9:13 to 9:18. That's what time he would get there. And he says his son is not home.
How many of your 3 sons were living with you at that time?
At that time, 2. My 16-year-old, well, he wasn't 16 years old at the time, but my 16-year-old and my 20-year-old.
And so 16 and 20 now is that?
16 and 20 now, so that'd be like 14 and 18 then, I guess.
And so your oldest son,
He was in the Navy, San Diego in the Navy.
and if you know, or did you check or anything as far as your kids when you got home, were they there, if you know?
No, I ran right upstairs. I was freezing. I went right into my room.
But he's freezing because he doesn't have heat in the rest of the house. So he's freezing. He went right into his room. Didn't see if his kids were home.
Essentially, you went to bed, is that correct?
Correct.
Went to bed.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask to publish for the jury just a small portion from what's been marked as Exhibit 53, the waterfall surveillance. Ms. Gilman, if I could have from Channel 3 the second video now.
Okay, then they watched some waterfall footage.
I would ask if you could play that from 10.
Like Lunchbox asks the stupidest questions.
Brian's house for my.
Now, Mr. Alvin, as far as your son, Colin, do you know sort of where he was that night?
Yes. So he was at my brother Brian's house for my nephew's birthday.
So like he opens up the questioning to Colin. Like, why bring Colin into this if you're Lally? Well, unless they're trying to get ahead of it and prove like, oh yeah, Colin had nothing to do with it. So where was Colin? Oh, he was at 34 Fairview. Oh. What was he there for? What was he there for? What was he doing there?
And he came home sometime after you, is that correct?
Correct.
And essentially you came in, went to bed, so do you know what time your son came home that night?
I know that.
Do you know, just answer yes or no, whether you know?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Because he opened the bedroom door and said, "Good night, guys. I love you. I'm home."
And about how long after you got home was it that your son came home?
I'd say within 10 minutes.
So Dad, first of all, even if there was no video evidence proving otherwise, why would you take it? It's his son. Who wouldn't lie for their son? You're just going to take this guy's word for it that he got home 10 minutes after you did? So either way, he says, so now we know between 12:13 and 12:18, Chris Albert gets home. This is his story in his mind. 12:13. Okay, I tell him I leave between 12:05 and 12:10, which means I'm home for 12:13 to 12:18. Colin gets home 10 minutes later, he says. That brings us to 12:23 to 12:28, which means he had left the house right before John O'Keefe got there at 12:20. Okay. He's going to go with that story. He's going to go with that story.
As far as sort of coming into your room, is that something that was required of your kids when they came home?
He would always do that. Yeah, that was something just to let us know that they were home.
Yeah, Colin's big
Now,
one.
turning your attention to the next day on the 29th, about obviously at some point you woke up. Do you recall about what time that was?
8-ish, 8:30-ish.
So sometime between 8 and 8:30.
Yeah, I was still in bed. I woke up, but I didn't leave my room.
And what was it that, or who was it that woke you up that time?
At that time, I just woke up on my own.
And when you woke up, what happened after you woke up?
Shortly after I woke up, my wife entered the room, but that was a little bit later. I don't know exactly what time. And she informed me that something had happened to John.
And what was it that you told?
I don't know the exact words that she said, but basically that John had died.
What? Exactly.
And what, if anything, did she indicate to you as to where John had died?
That he was found somewhere on the front lawn of 34 Fairview.
When you arrived at your brother's house, who, if anyone, was there?
To the best of my recollection, from what I remember, I was there. My wife was there. My brother Brian, Nicole, Brian Higgins was there. I believe Matt McCabe was there and Jen McCabe was there.
When you came into the home, sort of where were they in relation?
Just sitting at the kitchen table.
And if you know, about how long did you stay at your brother's house when you came over?
Maybe an hour.
And where did you go from there?
Afterwards, just home.
Now, as far as subsequent to this, at some point within the days that followed, did you have occasion to speak with some troopers or members of the state police?
Yes, I did.
And how many?
We're going to skip some shit here. All right, let's get to new shit. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
I would offer that one.
Okay.
All right, let's get to the cross-examination.
Yes,
Happy
put
to
it in
do that.
evidence.
Thank you, Ron.
So him and Kenny Berkowitz.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was on my Facebook page when I was running for select board. It looks familiar.
Has Mr. Lally shown you that photograph?
No.
Has he informed you that the defense would be introducing that photograph during this trial?
Nope.
You can take the photo down, Mr. Bates. On the left and wall. You would agree with me that one of your functions as a selectman is to oversee public safety in the town?
Yes.
And you would agree that the police department is a key component of public safety in the town of Kearney?
Yes.
So part of your duties as a town selectman is to oversee the Canton Police Department, correct?
Good afternoon.
I'll let him have it. Is that one of your duties, sir?
I believe so. I'm new at them. I'm recently elected, so I'm just going through it.
I mean, he really said that. He really said that. I'm new here. Is it the job to oversee the police department or the board of selectmen? Honestly, I don't know. I'm like new here. First of all, Chris, you've been on for a year. Okay, you're not new anymore. Secondly, you ran for the office and you don't know what the office does. I don't know anything about Canton politics, but I know that a board of selectmen, of course they're in charge of the police department. They control the town budget. It's quite literally what they do. He's just like, I don't really know. I just thought it would be cool to run for office and like have my name on yard signs and shit. Because I'm like an Albert, but I'm actually really bored with this shit. At meetings, I play a lot of Minesweeper. Don't really talk much. I'm on CASA. Don't know what that stands for. CASA. He didn't know what, that's it. Yeah, isn't he like in charge of the police audit, or he was opposed to it? Oh my God. That is great. He doesn't know if they oversee the police department because he's new here.
But yeah, I believe so.
And you became a town selectman shortly after Kenny Berkowitz retired, correct?
I'm not sure when Kenny retired.
Kenny,
But you would agree with me that Kenny Berkowitz has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family, correct?
Can you rephrase that?
You would agree with me that the former Canton police chief, Kenny Berkowitz, has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family.
Objection, Your Honor. It's the same question.
Go ahead and answer that question.
I'm not sure. I agree with that question.
Well, your brother Kevin Albert worked under Chief Berkowitz, correct?
Correct.
Would you consider that to be a professional relationship?
With them two, yes.
And your brother Brian Albert attended Chief Berkowitz's retirement party, did he not?
I have no idea.
But your brother Brian is also a friend of Kenny Berkowitz, is he not?
I have no idea. He definitely knows that Brian and Kevin attended Chief Berkowitz's retirement party because I wrote about it. And these people read every story I've ever written. There's no way he doesn't know that Brian was there. He's such a liar. Kenny. I love how he calls him Kenny too. I mean, can you please try to act like you're not best buddies with this guy? Don't call him Kenny, you freaking dolt. All right, back to this.
He may be, not sure.
And as far as your ties to the Canton Police, you would agree with me that Lieutenant Michael Blank is a member of the Canton Police Department, correct?
He is.
And you've been friends with him for years, correct?
I've known him for a long time.
You've been childhood friends with him since the age of 12, correct?
Somewhere around there, maybe earlier.
And you're tight with him.
I don't know if I'd call it tight.
He's not an enemy of yours, is he?
Oh, God, no.
No, he's a friend of yours, correct?
Sure.
And does sure mean yes?
Yes.
Now, your older brother, Brian, you've already testified, was a Boston police officer for years, correct?
Correct.
And he achieved some notoriety on a television show, did he not?
Objection.
Okay.
He was in the fugitive unit?
Correct.
And you know that your brother Brian was also a trained boxer, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Brian is a lot bigger guy than you are, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your brother Brian Albert is someone who is close to his family, correct?
Yes.
And when I say his family, I'm talking about not just his.
He was trying to establish here, like trying to get it in the minds of the jury that Brian is a boxer. He's big. He's intimidating. Maybe Brian did it. They can't outright say that Brian Albert did it, but they're putting that in the jury's mind. That these people will do anything to protect their family.
Wife and children, but also his extended family, correct?
Yes.
You were part of his family, obviously, correct?
Yes.
And your son Colin is part of his family,
Yep.
correct?
See what he's getting at here?
Yes.
The Albert family.
Oh, did you see the way look at the way, as soon as you mentioned Colin, that's when, just look at the change in tone. The second he's all confident until Colin is a soft spot with him. Watch.
You were part of his family, obviously, correct?
Yes.
And your son Colin is part of his family, correct?
Yes.
You see that?
Yep.
You see, like everything was yeah. And he's just like, yep. He's so nervous about Colin. He's just like, he still has to protect Colin. Like getting up here, this is still Operation Protect Colin. He cannot say anything that will fuck shit up with Colin. He is so nervous about saying the wrong thing. And you see what he's getting at here, right? He's like, so you're a close family, right? Right. You protect people in your family, right? And you have a son named Colin, right? And we see where this is going.
Family is close, correct?
Yes.
You all essentially grew up in Canton, correct?
Correct.
And you hung out with each other growing up, correct?
We were siblings, so
Of course.
yes.
And you still hang out with each other quite often, correct?
Like all of us,
In various combinations.
we have different relationships with my siblings.
Sure. But you see some more than others, but you hang out with your family, do you not?
Yeah, mostly during holidays.
And you go out for drinks together, correct?
Occasionally,
And you're protective of each other, correct?
like most families.
And if someone had a dispute with a member of the Albert family, Brian wouldn't be happy about that, correct?
Objection.
You see how he looks there? If someone had a dispute with the Albert family, Brian would have a problem with that. You see what he's getting at here, right? if somebody had a dispute with, say, Colin Albert, like, I don't know, John O'Keefe. If John O'Keefe had a dispute with Colin Albert over throwing beer cans in the yard, something stupid like that, trampling on his lawn, and you didn't like that, well, Brian Albert would have a problem with that, right? Like, listen to this way he asked this question. Go play that part again.
You not?
Yeah, mostly during holidays,
And you go out for drinks together, correct?
occasionally,
And you're protective of each other, correct?
like most families.
And if someone had a dispute with a member of the Albert family,
Wait,
Brian wouldn't be happy.
Yeah. See how he just looked over there? Looked at Lally to save him? Look at that. He's like, Lally, you gonna save me here? Watch this. He's staring straight at Yannetti. And as soon as he mentions the part about
Like most families.
And if someone had a dispute with a member of the Albert family, Brian wouldn't
see
be.
that? If someone had a dispute with the Albert family, Brian wouldn't, and he looks at Lally. You gonna save me? You gonna save me there? You object to that, right? Because like the other questions are harmless. He doesn't like where this one's going. Disputes. Brian, I see where he's going with this. I see where they look at lunch. He's looking at Lunchbox to save him there.
Happy about that, correct?
Objection.
You
You know that Brian would stick up for your kids, correct?
Objection.
knew Brian would look out for your kids. These are uncomfortable questions. If he didn't have Lunchbox there to save him, he wouldn't know how to answer these questions. He was going to get pissed. You can tell he's getting mad. He does not like these questions.
Your son Colin is particularly close to your brother Brian, is he not?
Objection.
I'll let him have that. Do you know?
Just look at his face. When you mention Colin, he turns into a different person. He's just like, I have to protect my son. I cannot let my son go to jail. And he's like, when you mention Colin, he's getting pissed. He wants to fight Yannetti right now. Look at him.
Yes.
In fact, your son Colin was a football player through high school, was he not?
Yes.
What was his number?
I knew this one.
In high school?
Yes.
34, I believe.
Like,
And was that for 34 Fairview?
like that. I don't know about that one. Are they serious about that? There's no way they can name that. That would be freaking weird, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, that'd be a crazy coincidence.
I don't think so.
Now, you testified you moved to Maple Street in Canton not long before January 28th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
And before that, you lived at 7 Meadows Ave in Canton?
Correct.
And that was when John O'Keefe was your neighbor, correct?
Correct.
I believe you testified he was a couple of houses away from you?
Yes.
And he was your neighbor for a series of years, was he not?
Yes.
While he was living in the neighborhood, you knew that he was working as a Boston police officer, correct?
Correct.
And you were familiar with him, correct?
What do you mean? What do you mean familiar?
You knew who he was. You know, you became familiar with
Yeah, he
him.
was my neighbor. I knew who he was.
And you knew that he was not married, calling him before this jury Kenny Berkowitz, correct?
Kenny.
I know Kenny. Yep.
And he's actually donated to your campaign when you were running for town selectman, correct?
Correct.
And you also knew Michael Proctor prior to January 29th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
You've attended social events together with him, have you not?
Objection.
I'll let that one question.
Couple.
So, at need for Michael Proctor to formally introduce himself to you, was there?
Objection.
There's no need for Michael Proctor to formally introduce himself.
What did he say when he first walked in the door in terms of introductions?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we be seen as side by side? Sure.
Can I ask him anything? Am I allowed to ask any sort of questions here?
Family who have posted publicly that the
Objection, Your
Albert
Honor.
How about this?
Proctor's to be the Albert second meeting, correct?
Yes.
He didn't need to say, "How do you do? I am Michael Proctor," correct?
No.
No. Do you consider the Proctors to be the Albert second family?
Objection.
Do you consider that?
No.
You are aware that there are members of the Proctor's family who have posted publicly that the
Objection, Your
Alberts are their second family, correct?
So the objection is sustained and I'm striking that question.
The objection is sustained, and I'm striking that question. You are aware. To be clear, he is aware of that because it was on Chris's own Facebook post that Michael Proctor's mother posted that the Alberts are a second family. How is that not so relevant to this? So relevant. And the judge just doesn't want the jury to know that. Like, that is unfortunate, as Chris Albert would say.
Now, at the time that Trooper Michael Proctor showed up to question you, sir, you knew that Karen Reed had been charged in this case, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that John O'Keefe had been found dead on your brother's lawn, correct?
Correct.
Did it occur to you that it was odd that the state police sent somebody from the Proctor family to interview you
Objection, Your Honor.
on February 10th of 2022?
Sustained.
All right. Now, you testified that on January 28th of 2022, that day, that Friday that you were working, John O'Keefe stopped into D&E Pizza, your shop, correct?
Correct.
And there was discussion about whether you would be going out that night, and if so, where you would be, correct?
Correct.
Now, you've previously, on direct examination, characterized your relationship with him as being friends, correct?
Correct.
It's fair to say, however, that prior to January 28th of 2022, you had never exchanged personal information with John O'Keefe, correct?
You mean, I'm sorry, you mean like phone numbers or what?
A cell number prior to that day.
No, I didn't.
Beers in that fridge? for
Sometimes.
Personal use?
Sometimes.
Do you know how many beers that you would have had before going out?
No.
And would you have drank that beer as you were cleaning up at the end of the night?
Probably.
Probably.
Did you have anything to eat at the pizza shop?
No.
When did you last eat before you went out at 9:50 or so?
When did I last eat?
Yes.
It's a long time ago. I'm not sure.
And you knew that your wife, Julie, was starting the night at CF McCarthy's, correct?
Yes.
And you couldn't meet her there because you were still working, right?
Correct.
But at some point you heard that Julie and others
I'm gonna skip the word.
And some sort of chicken tenders. I would guess. It's
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago. So correct.
and Karen Reed were not there when you arrived, right?
Correct.
And the food that you ordered, do you remember what appetizers you would have gotten?
Probably like potato skins and some sort of chicken tenders. I would guess. It's 2 years ago, so I don't remember exactly.
And did you order a drink along with the
It's not a diet,
appetizers?
though.
I believe so.
All right, and that would have been the Miller Lite that you talked about?
Correct.
Then not long after you got there, Brian Albert and Brian Higgins showed up, correct?
Correct.
And you have met Brian Higgins prior to that night.
Yes.
In fact, you had testified that you had seen him around quite a bit, correct?
A few times.
And you knew him, I believe your testimony was, from him working inside the Canton police station, correct?
I knew that he worked there.
Did you testify on direct examination, quote, I knew him from working inside Canton PD?
Yes.
And you've been inside Canton Police, correct?
Maybe twice in my life.
You knew that Brian Albert, your brother, and Brian Higgins were friends, correct?
I knew they knew each other.
So are you saying that they were acquaintances?
No, I guess they're friends.
You guess they're friends?
Yeah, they're friends.
Was there something confusing about my question the first time I asked it?
Objection, Your Honor.
In any case, would you agree that shortly before Brian Albert and Brian Higgins arrived at the waterfall, or shortly after they did, there was a couple whom...
The Greek couple. We're going to fast forward to this.
Yesterday. So before you consider any electronic communication in your deliberation.
So this stuff, I don't know if I consider this the strongest stuff about, like, if not, I'm going to fuck up your lawn. I mean, it sounds like they're kidding around there. I don't know if that's the strongest evidence.
So you mean that's to tell him to come over to the waterfall?
Right.
Okay, I just didn't understand what you meant.
That's fine. So you're telling John establishment a few times
I'm sure he did.
and bought a few rounds of drinks,
I'm sure.
including that one round of fireball shots.
Sure.
Correct.
What was the state of your sobriety when John and Karen arrived?
It's hammered.
Probably fine. Fine.
You didn't feel like intoxicated
No.
or unable to influence of alcohol to you.
I didn't notice anything.
She wasn't stumbling, correct?
So Karen
She wasn't swaying.
I didn't notice.
She didn't appear to be unbalanced, correct?
I didn't notice anything.
She wasn't slurring her words.
Nope.
She wasn't talking gibberish, correct?
No.
She was engaging in normal conversation and she appeared to be under control.
Yeah.
And would you agree with me that she also appeared to be affectionate with John O'Keefe?
I wasn't really watching their interactions too much, to be honest.
But in any case, you never saw any arguing between the two of them.
I wasn't really paying attention to their
And you
interactions.
You didn't perceive any tension between them, correct?
I didn't notice anything irregular.
Yeah.
Previously, well, you testified on direct examination today, I believe, that you thought you got home between 12:05 and 12:10 a.m. on January 29th, correct?
That's what I remember.
If I suggested to you that you didn't even leave the bar until 12:13 a.m., would you quarrel with that?
Would I quarrel with it?
Yes.
No, I guess not. I mean,
Like, how does he not see this coming? This is the prosecution. This is the part that amazes me. Is that they've obviously entered this into evidence. Adam Lally has seen it. When he preps these witnesses, when he preps Chris Albert, why does he not tell them they have video of you leaving at 12:13 so that he can get his lies together? Why did they not prep him? Like, they left this guy out to dry. Adam Lally's just like, so what time did you leave? Because he had no idea what Chris was going to say, apparently. He said 12:05 to 12:10. You just fucked yourself. They got you back at the place. It's almost 12:14. It's 12:13, like 45 seconds.
And is your memory exhausted as to the precise time that you left the bar?
is it exhausted?
Right. In other words, do you not remember the precise time that you left the bar that early morning?
It's over 2 years ago. I don't know the precise time.
Right.
That's why I said between 12:05 and 12:10.
That answers my question. Thank you. Could we have Exhibit 50? Well, with the court's permission, can I publish Exhibit 53? It's a
12:13 is
short
not
clip from the waterfall.
12:10.
I think I need to back it up. It's started.
It's you, Chris. You got that? They're whispering.
Robert, you would agree with me, this was clearly the end of the night?
See it now?
Yeah. I believe it's me.
There he is. So there he is.
Continue, please.
Look at the time. 12:13, 45 seconds. Chris Mosey's on out. Finally. All right, daylight savings. I forgot about that.
You can take that off the screen. So
It's
having
7:08
now viewed that video with the timestamp of 12:13 and about 43 seconds or so, does that refresh your memory as to when you left the waterfall?
Yes.
That would mean it would have been impossible for you to get home to Maple Street by 12:05 or 12:10, correct?
Correct.
Now, it was about maybe a 7-minute walk home. Would you agree with me?
8 minutes.
From Waterfall to Maple? No, I said 7 minutes from D&E to Waterfall. Waterfall to Maple is probably less than 5 minutes.
Less than, like, Waterfall is basically diagonally across the street from D&E Pizza. So he's like, oh no, D&E Pizza, that's wicked far. You know, Waterfall is wicked close. Waterfall is like it's like a minute it adds onto the walk about, I would estimate. They're diagonally across the street from each other. I've done that many times before while protesting Chris Albert in Canton. It's stop it, Chris. You're a liar. So he's like, oh, I could get home quicker than that.
So it's your testimony that D&E is closer to the waterfall than the waterfall is to the street?
They have a stupid debate about this. Look at him.
Dean is farther away from Waterfall than farther away from where I live than Waterfall is.
I understand.
Oh, I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
I'll try to clarify. I
Okay.
don't mean to be confusing here.
It's fine.
I'm not asking about the distance between D&E and your home. I'm trying to compare or ask you to compare the distance between D&E and the waterfall, and then the waterfall. And do you see the difference?
I think so.
Would you agree with me that your home is farther from the waterfall than D&E Pizza is from the waterfall?
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
Okay. So let's take it step by step.
He's so stupid.
D&E Pizza to the waterfall. Are they on the same street?
Yes.
How many establishments, if you know, are between D&E Pizza and the waterfall?
Couple.
Just a few.
Okay, so it's a very short walk from
Yeah.
D&E Pizza to the waterfall.
Yes.
Correct? Your home on Maple Street is not on the same street as the waterfall, correct?
No.
It's off of the same street.
But it's not on the same street.
No.
And your home on Maple Street is farther from the waterfall than D&E Pizza is to the waterfall. Is it
Correct.
not?
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't understand it earlier.
No, I know it. I'm trying to work through this because, I'm not trying to trick you here. I just want to get the answer.
Try to trick you.
So you would agree with me that it would take you longer to walk home from the waterfall than it would take you to walk to the waterfall from D&E Pizza.
Correct.
All right. And I believe you said that one walk was 7 minutes and one walk was maybe less than 5 minutes, correct?
Yes.
All right. The 7 minute walk would have been the walk home as opposed to the walk to the waterfall, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you have agreed that you left the bar at 12:13, almost 12:14, according to the video, and it would have taken you about 7 minutes to walk home, correct?
Not exactly sure how. I
Can I
think
see Councilor Tabor for just a second, please?
Oh, boy. Hold on. So let me fast forward 1 sec. All right. Where'd it go? All right.
How long it took you to go home? It's been pointed out to me that I think we're not making the connection here, and I think it might be my fault. With regard to the timing of how long it took you to go home, I believe your best estimate is about 5 minutes. Is that your testimony? And when I say home, I'm not talking about from D&E Pizza. I'm talking about that early morning when you're at the waterfall.
I understand. Yeah. I'd say around 5 minutes, I think, from the waterfall to Maple Street.
Fair enough. So now if you're leaving the bar like close to 12:14, as indicated on the video, you're getting home somewhere around 12:19, 12:20, correct?
Or that early.
Roughly, yeah.
And what were you wearing that night?
Blue jeans, sneakers, I think, and a sweatshirt.
Okay. And it had started to snow by that point.
A little bit.
So the ground was a little bit either slushy or wet.
Not slushy, but could have been wet.
Could have been wet.
Slowing you down.
And the snow had not yet started to accumulate, or had it?
It didn't start. No.
All right. So you're walking home, but it was cold, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree that in the best case scenario, you might have had a little bit more clothing on for that cold walk home?
I think I had a sweatshirt on.
Right, but you could have used something else, right?
Oh, probably.
In light of the weather?
Probably.
All right, because you testified that by the time you got home, you were pretty cold, right?
Correct.
You hadn't, if it had been about a 5 minute walk, that was enough time for you to walk in almost shivering, correct?
Sure.
And given that there was precipitation, the snow had started, the sweatshirt would absorb the moisture as opposed to repel it, correct?
Sure.
And so you were wet as well when you walked in, right?
Sure.
And by that point in time, you were tired, correct?
I don't remember if I was tired, but
Okay.
I don't remember if I was tired at that point.
Okay. You had worked all day
Correct.
till late in the day, actually into the evening, correct?
Correct.
Taking pizzas in and out of a hot oven,
Correct.
as well as other food that you serve as well, correct?
Yep.
And you're now, and by the way, you'd had a couple of drinks or a few drinks, whatever it was, at the waterfall, correct?
Correct.
And you decided not to go to your brother Brian Albert's house, correct?
Correct.
That was in part because you weren't up for the continued partying at that point, correct?
Yeah, I just wanted to go home.
Right. And so when you got home, would you agree with me that your first priority would have been getting out of the wet clothes that you were in?
Okay.
Correct.
I love how he dissects.
And where would you have done that within your
In my
home?
bedroom.
And is this a townhouse? or is it a freestanding residence?
It's a condominium.
Condominium? How many floors?
There's 3 floors.
And your bedroom's on the top floor?
Correct.
And the entrance is ground level?
Correct.
When you first entered the home in those wet clothes, where was your wife, Julie?
Upstairs in the bedroom.
And was she already washed up and ready for bed?
She was lying in bed.
And where did you go when you walked in the ground level?
I went up to the bedroom.
All right.
Took off my clothes, jumped in bed.
All right. And do you have a master bath with regard to your bedroom?
There's a bathroom, yeah.
All right. That would have been where you brushed your teeth?
Yeah.
And washed up?
But I did. That's where I would do those things, but I didn't do them.
You didn't do those?
No.
Okay. Did you grab a drink of water before you went to bed?
Nope.
All right. So you essentially came home, and I think we agreed it was around 12:20 or so. Give or take a minute.
Roughly.
And you made a beeline for your bedroom.
Correct.
Did you fall asleep shortly thereafter?
Soon after.
5 minutes or so? 10 minutes?
I started to doze off. I don't know exactly how soon after I fell asleep.
All right.
So this idiot is doing himself in. He's not even thinking about the timeline here. He's like, Chris, stupid. He's asking you these questions because he's trying to put Colin in the house at Fairview Road. That's what he's trying to do here. He's too fucking stupid to see this. Like, I could see this coming from a mile away. He's like, no, you didn't leave at 12:05 or 12:10. You left at 12:14. You couldn't make it back in 5 minutes because it was slippery out. And you were really wet by the time you got back. So you're probably going to get back there 12:22. See, David's just adding the time on here. How long? Okay, then you get back. Your clothes are all wet. You're going to want to take them off, right? Take a long time to take them off. Okay, cool. You go upstairs, 3rd floor. Okay, you're going to get all the way upstairs. Bedroom, you're going to brush your teeth. Nope. Didn't. Okay, cool. He's adding on time here. That's all he's doing is adding on time. Idiot is going along with it. Idiot's like, yep. So did you go right to bed? He should have been like, yep. And so he's like, nah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He's just adding on minutes. That's all he's doing. The whole purpose of adding on all these minutes is he knows that Colin Chris's story is that Colin didn't come home until he was sleeping. So the longer he keeps Chris Albert awake in this story, the longer Colin has to get home, the more you tie him to 34 Fairview Road, which is problematic for him because they've been trying real hard to keep Colin out of 34 Fairview Road. That's all this is. This is just David Yannetti playing. He's just setting this guy up. And it's like Lally didn't prep him. Lally didn't even think like he's going to try to put Colin in the house. So you need to stick with this story. Like there was absolutely nothing. Like this is the worst prepping of a witness I've ever seen. He fucking falls for it so bad.
Sometime within 5 or 10 minutes, would you say?
I would say more like within 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. So with regard to getting home, and we'll call it 12:19 because I think that's more consistent with what you said. And understanding that it's just an estimate. If you're walking in the door at 12:19, it takes you maybe a minute to get upstairs.
About a minute.
You kicked off your sneakers downstairs, I imagine.
Maybe. I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Okay. And then you walked up 2 flights of stairs. Right?
Probably ran up the stairs because I was cold.
Ran.
Oh, all right. So you get up there around 12:20 or so, correct?
Roughly, yeah.
And you believe that you dozed off about 15 minutes later, which would have made it about 12:35?
Somewhere around there.
It's like, why would he agree to that? So he gave Chris a chance to be like, nope. He said he ran up the stairs. Chris Albert at that point should have been like, yep. Ran up the stairs and just passed the fuck out in 5 seconds. And then Colin was there 3 minutes later at 12:25. So my timeline makes sense. He gave Chris an opportunity there to save his son. But dumbass doesn't realize what David Yannetti's doing here. So he's just, he's like, yeah, so you took about 15 minutes, right? The answer to that is no, Chris. Say no. Say no. He's like, about 15 minutes. You think David Yannetti's trying to help you, Chris? Why are you going with his suggestions? What are you doing, you fucking moron? You idiots have been trying to cover this up for a year. You've been doing this crazy PR campaign using Gretchen Voss to try to fucking get it in the heads of people that Colin was not in the house. And then this fucking idiot puts Colin in the house like fucking moron. Oh, he's so stupid.
Now, when you came home, you would agree with me that your son, Colin Albert, was not home, correct?
Not when I first got home.
And in fact, I think your testimony was that 10 minutes after you got home, he opened the bedroom door.
think that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, 10 minutes. Just like, no, it was instantaneous. He came home right away. You fucking idiot. David Yanetti's just adding time on. He's just adding time on. He's trying to prove that he didn't leave Fairview Road until at least 12:30. That's the whole fucking purpose of this, is that he was not back home at 12:25 or whatever. He's just adding time on. And Chris is like, yeah, probably. Yeah, these questions, these leading questions from David Yannetti. Yeah, he's trying to help me, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. Oh, you fucking moron. Oh, I love how he did this to himself. I love it.
Do you want to stick with that?
I'm just trying to recollect what I, thinking it over. So obviously it was a little bit longer.
Because you actually woke up
did.
when he opened the bedroom door, correct?
I don't think so.
Did you not just testify before this jury just, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, that you fell asleep and that your son Colin opened the bedroom door and woke you up to say goodnight?
Yeah, I guess that's what I said.
Sure, whatever.
And when you testified to that on direct examination, that was when Mr. Lally was asking you questions, correct?
Correct.
And you knew that you were under oath at that time, correct?
Correct.
And you were trying to be as accurate as possible, correct?
Trying to be correct.
All right. So in terms of the timing of this, assuming that he opened the bedroom door after you already fell asleep, if you're getting home upstairs to your bedroom around 12:20 and it takes you 15 minutes to go to bed, and that's around 12:35, then sometime after you're asleep, after 12:35, that's when Colin opens the bedroom door, correct?
I don't remember exactly.
Well, it's difficult for you to remember how long you've been asleep for when Colin opened the bedroom door, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't know if it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or longer, correct?
I don't know exactly.
Right. But it was sometime after you fell asleep.
He should have been like, no, it was before I fell asleep. Like, why is he adding time on? What are you doing, Chris? Stop adding minutes on. Christ, I'm the only one here trying to save Colin. And I don't like him.
To the best of my recollection.
Now, with regard to your son, Colin, he obviously lived in the same neighborhood as John O'Keefe, because that's where your family lives, correct?
Correct.
And back in 2022, Colin Albert was 17 years old?
Correct. Part of the year.
And you knew that,
we're going to skip ahead to Julie Albert's testimony now. Because the crypt keeper here. Oh my God, look at that.
My whole life, 48 years.
And where did you live just prior to living on Maple?
I lived at 7 Meadows Avenue in Canton.
And how long a period of time did you live at 7 Meadows Avenue?
It was between John's house and my house.
And that's something that like you and your husband did together, or was it more of a group setting type?
No, a group setting.
And with reference to, did you have occasions where you would socially hang out or interact with Mr. And if you know about how old was he turning, or how, let me start with this. How old is he now?
He's 24.
So just turned 24 a few months ago?
January. Yep.
And that would be sort of
Brian Senior.
for lack of a better term.
Yep.
Your husband, Christopher, how many siblings does he have?
6.
And Brian is the oldest?
The oldest, yes.
And so there were plans to go out that evening, the day before Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday, correct?
Yes.
And what were the plans? What did they sort of consist
We were just going to go to Waterfall.
of? And is Waterfalls,
It's a bar in Canton on Washington Street.
you were recognized or didn't?
I know my niece Caitlin was in there, my nephew Brian. I don't recall. I probably say between maybe 7:30 and 8.
Go there, do you go there, your kids or something?
No, Jennifer McCabe's kids. 200 steps right next to my husband's restaurant.
So on the same side of.
Opposite side. My oldest son didn't live at home. He lived in California at the time.
I'm going to fast forward.
And is there another common practice as far as when your kids come home, where do they go when they first come in?
They immediately will always come in the door, maybe grab a water out of the fridge and come upstairs and give me a kiss goodnight and tell me that they're home.
Yeah, right. They give her a
Now,
kiss
did
goodnight.
that happen on this occasion?
Yes.
And so
Give me a kiss
Colin
goodnight.
came into your room at some point?
Yep. He came right upstairs. Yes.
And when Colin came into your room and he came upstairs, did you have occasion to observe him as far as talk to him? Obviously?
Yes. We talked for a minute. He asked me if I was feeling better. And yeah, we talked for a moment.
And during that conversation that you had with Colin, similar to what I had asked you with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, what, if any, injuries or anything did you observe on your son Colin?
None.
And fair to say the next day, at some points, you talked to and had interaction with your son?
Yes.
What, if any, injuries or anything did you observe?
None. None.
Yeah,
So I know this is sort of hard, so wait till Mr. Lally finishes his question
Okay.
before answering, okay?
Mhm.
yeah, wait till he's like, she couldn't wait to answer that. Like, no, I know the answer to that one. None. I know the answer to that one.
Now, after your son Colin came home, and
Seriously.
you eventually went to bed, is that right?
Yes.
And turning your attention to the next morning, the Saturday morning of the 29th,
The inspector.
about what time was it that you woke up?
I woke up about 8-ish.
And with regard to your nephew, Brian Jr., whose birthday it was now on the 29th, what, if any, sort of tradition do you have with respect to him and his birthday?
Every year on his birthday, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I get him 6 donuts and I bring them to the house and I leave them there with a card before he gets up. So when he wakes up, they're there. I've been doing it for years.
Is that true? So let me get this straight. She went over to Fairview Road in the morning at 8 o'clock, having no idea any of this happened. Didn't hear rumors about John being killed or anything, being dead. Just shows up at Fairview Road because she wants to deliver Brian Albert Jr., the autistic ogre who lives at Brian Albert's house, and wants to bring him 6 donuts. That dude eats 6 donuts. That's and she brought it over there during a blizzard. And she had no idea that John O'Keefe was just found dead there 2 hours prior. None. She had to fulfill the ritual. She was awake at 8 o'clock too. Stop it. Stop it.
And is that what your intention was on this morning as well?
Yes.
Did she ever
Is that what you did on that?
Yes.
Now, when you woke up, probably like most people, at some point did you look at your phone?
Yes.
And when you looked at the screen to your phone, what, if anything, did you see?
I had a missed call from my friend Jen McCabe.
And was there any sort of notation in regard to the missed call as to what time that missed call had come in?
It was 5:55 maybe.
So sometime earlier in the morning.
Early morning, yes.
And beyond the missed call, was there any other sort of stamp or notification on the phone as far as voicemail, text message?
Nope. I'm sorry. No, there was not.
And not from Ms. McKay, correct?
Correct.
And not from anybody else?
Correct.
And at any point in time on that morning over the phone, did you speak with Ms. McKay?
No, I did not.
And did you call her? So you didn't call her back or anything like that?
I did not.
Good.
And so after you wake up, at some point you go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the 6 donuts?
Yes.
And where did you go with those?
I drove to 34 Fairview.
And when you arrived at 34 Fairview, where did you park in relation to the house?
I pulled into the driveway.
And when you came up to the house and you were driving to the house at this point, what was the weather like?
It was coming down. The snow was coming down pretty good.
And with reference to the house, what, if anything, did you notice out of the ordinary with regard to the house?
This is so true. She reported to police in one of the police reports that she was alert, that Jen called her at 4:55 and told her that John O'Keefe was dead. That's what she said. Those are her words. Now she's acting like she went over there at 8 and here's some donuts. Oh, I didn't know about the dead guy. Oops. And it's a blizzard, but tradition is tradition in the Albert home. And the autistic ogre has to get his 6 donuts because it's his fucking birthday after all. And, blizzard, he's not going to put up with this. If Brian Albert Jr. wakes up on his goddamn birthday and doesn't have 6 donuts, he's going to hit the roof. Physically. And
Street or anything else?
Jennifer McCabe's car was in the driveway.
And as far as any other vehicles on the street or anything like that, what was going on at that time?
I don't recall. I don't.
Nothing you can recall?
No.
Oh, what time was this that you got there?
8:30, 9 o'clock, 8:30. Around that.
And when you get there, you pull in the driveway. What did you do?
I opened my car door. I got out to walk to the car in front of me to leave the donuts and card inside my nephew Brian's car. And Brian Albert came to the door. Brian Albert Sr. came to the door and he told me to come in, asked me to come in for a second. And I said that I didn't need to. And he said, I'm just leaving this gift for Brian Jr. And he said, no, just come in for a second. So I went into the house.
Wait a minute. So she gets there and Brian Albert Jr. and she leaves the donuts in the car or whatever. And Brian Albert Sr. is like, come on in here. And she's like, no, I'm not coming in. I'm just here to drop off the donuts. Take your fucking donuts and let me leave in peace. Like, what? Take the fucking donuts. And Brian Albert's like, no. You're going to want to come in here for this. Okay. Just, no, without saying a word, just take the donuts.
And when you walk into 34 Fairview Road on that morning, if anyone else was
Nicole Albert, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Jennifer McCabe, and Matt McCabe.
And where were they in relation to the house?
In the kitchen.
And what, if anything, did they tell you at that time?
When I first walked in, nothing. Everyone was just sitting there.
Nobody said
And I was
anything?
looking around and everyone was visibly upset.
Oh.
And I asked, what's going on?
We just killed
And
him.
another maybe 30 seconds went by and Jen said, something's happened to John.
What?
And I said, John, she said, John O'Keefe. And I said, is he okay?
Objection.
No, I'm going to allow it.
None of this happened.
I said, is he okay? And she said, we don't know. And that was that.
We don't.
And after hearing that information,
Mhm.
how long were you at your brother and sister-in-law's house that night?
Probably about half hour, 45 minutes, maybe.
And where did you go from there?
I went home to wake my husband up to let him know what had happened.
And at some point after you go home and wake up your husband, where did you and your husband go?
We went back to I woke up my husband, told him what had happened, and we went back to Fairview.
And so the second time that you had gone back to Fairview,
Mhm.
how long a period of time were you there that time?
I would say probably half hour, not long.
And then after that half hour or so, where'd you go after that?
Back home to my house.
During either of those occasions when you were at 34 Fairview Road on the morning of the 29th, you had occasion to talk and observe Brian Albert Sr., correct?
Yes.
And similar to questions that I asked you with regard to Mr. O'Keefe and your son Colin, what, if any, injuries or anything out of place did you note with respect to Brian Albert Sr.?
Nothing that I saw.
Same question with respect to Mr. Higgins, as far as you made observations and spoke at least in the same room as him on that morning?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you observe as far as injuries or anything else on Mr. Higgins?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, yeah, it's clean. She was really looking. She's really looking at his knuckles. Can I see your knuckles?
When you woke up your husband that next morning, your other two sons, being Colin and Dylan, they were at home still?
Yes, they were at home still asleep.
And with regard to when you went to Fairview, came back with your husband, went back to Fairview, and then came back again, were they still asleep?
I don't remember.
You recall, well, let me put it this way. As far as your sons, did either of your sons come back with you to Fairview Road that day?
No, they did not.
And do you recall whether or not either Colin or Dylan was awake when you left the second time to go to Fairview?
I don't.
She doesn't remember if Colin was awake. Sure. I bet you Colin was up. Yeah.
At some point, a few days after this, did you have occasion to meet with a couple troopers from the state police?
Yes, I did. They came to my home.
And you say they, how many of them came to you?
There were two.
And you spoke to them that day in reference to what you had observed at the waterfall, everything you did?
Yes, I did.
I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yeah.
And that in an answer that Mr. Lally asked you and that you responded to, he had just asked you whether or not a few days later you spoke with a couple of state troopers. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
And your answer was yes?
Yes.
You would agree with me that it was more than just a few days later, correct?
I
It
don't
was
recall.
February 10th of 2022 that two state troopers came to speak with you and your husband, Chris, correct?
Correct.
And so we're talking about 13 days later, almost 2 weeks later, correct?
If that was the date, yes, correct.
Prior to February 10th, no investigator from this case was with Courtney Proctor, correct?
Yes, she is.
All right.
And in terms of your relationship with Courtney Proctor, you socialize with her, do you not?
Objection.
Do you?
Occasionally, yes.
Yep.
Go out for drinks with her, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
You've attended parties with her, correct?
Yes.
You've also provided childcare for
Here we
your
go.
children, correct?
Yes.
Objection.
Objection. Oh, she said, yeah. Look at her. Look at her. Look at that. She's like, fuck, I shouldn't have answered that. Watch this. She's like, why was I so anxious?
Childcare for
You provided childcare for her. And Adam, this is where Adam Lally was just ready. Object. Object. He knows what they're going to ask. The shit that makes him look really bad. And before he could object,
Her children, correct?
Yes.
Objection. Move to strike.
fuck. Look at that. Fuck. God damn it. We're supposed to wait. They didn't have to answer that. Lally could have saved me. Fuck. Shit. Love that.
All right, I'll see you on sidebar on this, Mr. May. Everybody.
She is regretting that one right now. She's like, can I take that back? Does that count? Karen's like, thank God for these fucking idiots.
Objection.
I can't wait for them to ask Brian Albert tomorrow. Where's Chloe? I can't wait for tomorrow.
So, Ms. Albert, you provided childcare for Courtney Proctor's children.
Objection.
Need a time frame, Mr. May.
Have you ever provided childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Objection.
So you need a time frame.
Before January of 2022, did you provide childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Yes.
When?
2019.
Just that 1 year?
Yeah, it was pre-COVID. And then when COVID happened and everything shut down, I wasn't helping her any longer.
Okay.
And then
What were their names?
Jack and Caroline.
And Elizabeth Proctor's children, correct?
Objection. Move to strike.
And you were also aware that Courtney Proctor had recommended you to also watch Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor's children, correct?
Objection. Move to strike.
That objection sustained.
Like they couldn't wait to get that. She also asked you to watch Michael Proctor's children. We learned that in the federal investigation. Objection, move to strike. Unbelievable. Why would you try to hide that? Why do you not want the jury to know that? Because it's really bad, right? Oh, these people don't want justice.
But you go back a long way with Courtney Proctor, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you were certainly at her wedding, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your son was a ring bearer at that wedding.
Objection.
Right, so we'll sustain that through this witness.
Oh, sustain that for this witness. So somebody else is going to be able to ask that question. So why try to hide it if it's eventually going to be entered into evidence that Colin Albert was the ring bearer at the wedding? So who's going to be the one to, is that going to be Colin Albert gets asked that, or Courtney Proctor gets asked that? I don't know.
You've spent time at Michael Proctor's childhood home, have you not?
Yes.
You've been to the pool at the Proctor's house, correct?
Yes.
Oh, then they're talking about a picture. You hear them whisper there?
May we approach?
Show the picture.
Yes.
Text each other, correct?
Yes.
You also talk by phone?
Okay, and so then she gets her in the lie. We're just running out of time. And voice is fucking shit right now. So they get her in the lie here about how many times she's talked to Courtney. We'll listen to more of this on the weekend show. Okay. Tomorrow they're going to start with her. I assume David Yanetti's going to roast her a little bit more. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So I can't wait to be in the courtroom tomorrow, man. It's exciting. Hopefully I get in. I'll be very disappointed if something happens. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't need any shenanigans. I mean, I have my press pass. I got my ID. I'm on the freaking list. I'm on the email list now. I just got this email from Norfolk Superior Courthouse. They sent me this, the receipts from the waterfall. Rebecca T is the server. At 11:58, who paid? John O'Keefe paid. Dude, look at this tip he gave. Way to go out like a baller, John. 16:58 tab. The dude tips $10. It's a fucking good tipper. John O'Keefe. How about that? He was hammered. That's the kind of tip you give when you're shit-faced. Fuck it. I'll do some overtime. $10. Whatever. Make her happy. Make her day. Look at that, $10 he gives on a $16 tab. Nice, John. The other tab is from Caitlin Albert. How does she have a $7.49 tab? She tips $2. I mean, still not bad. Caitlin and Albert. Like, who paid? That's it? Oh, and then she had another bill that Caitlin paid. $32 bill. She tips $3 on a $32 bill. Cheapskate. You know, of course she pays. Not Julie Albert. She doesn't pay for shit. Yeah. But what else do we have here? Then this was, they just send me the shit. I'm on the email list now, so I get all the shit. But anyway, got a couple turtle chats here. Got to bang through real quick. Mandy sent $25 and says, for letting us freeload on the Turtle Club video. Thank you, Mandy. D-Nick sends 25 and says, please take allergy meds. Get rest. I'm so excited for you to be there tomorrow. I don't want you stressed about the sniffs. Your kids are going to be so proud of the work you do. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. D-Nick. D sends $25 and says, pizza delivery tip. Excellent. Thank you, D. The detective sends 15 and says, just want to thank you for opening this floodgate and never giving up in spite of what it has cost you. God bless you. Also, John Como was not nude, but he could be. Okay. Thank you, detective. I appreciate that. Fred Duncan sends $5 and says, she needed the donuts for the cops. Yeah, maybe so. Chad sends $25 and says, thanks for extensive reporting on this case. Let justice be done through the heavens fall. Thank you very much. Also have a couple cash apps here. We have one from, let's see. Got a few. Doreen Smith sent $20 earlier. No comment. Thank you, Doreen. Frank Rizzo sends 5 and says, what happened to 𝗫𝗏 and dump truck? I mean, they're irrelevant. I mean, 𝗫𝗏's still facing the charges. I'm testifying against her. Nobody cares about dump truck. Mo sends $5 and says, please go to YouTube. Bummed I'm missing the show. Sorry, Mo. Stephanie sends $20 and says, please show Yannetti and Grant video. I'll show that Saturday, I promise. John sends $10 and says, stay the course, brother. Let's fucking go. Thank you, John. Ann sends 25 and says, help pay for Ryder's Pizza on watch. So nice. Yeah, there's good pizza. Denim pizza is good. $25 from Barry Keyser says, Spot Savers Meals. Keep up the good fight. Thank you, Barry. Barbara sends $30 and says, shenanigans and bullshit. Thank you, Barbara. And we have one more turtle chat here from Danielle, sends $10 and says, wait till Brian Albert finds out how bad Julie did on the stand. She could be next. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, guys, I just got to, maybe Grant got me sick. I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully things are going well down there with the seat holders. We'll see how this, now that I know you don't actually have to sit in the seats, that changes everything. Maybe we just put a seat up next time. We'll see. But I didn't want to take any chances. I want to get in that goddamn courtroom. So anyway, guys, I got no voice left. So I'm going to call it a night, and I will see you guys. I'm going to give Deb the shit to stream on my computer. She's going to stream for me. And that's it. So we'll have a stream. I don't know if we'll have any commentary, but we'll have a stream of it. Then we will see you guys. I'll be in the courtroom. So that's exciting. So peace, Turtle Riders.
This.